Well, hey, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Open Mic, and I am John Campea. Now, Open Mic is just, it's an afternoon show that we do. It's a lot more casual, laid back. We just talk about the things you guys want to talk about. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, or question about anything in the world of movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, go ahead and fire that into the super chats right now are open, and Rob and I will address it. And of course, I am joined by Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing?
John, it's been a fantastic, fun week here on the John Campea Show, I thought we did some great shows, great talkbats, chats, all that.
A lot of interesting stuff came out this week. It's the end of another week, heading into the weekend.
Dude, it's November.
I know. It's weird. And when we come back, it'll be like, Monday will be November 6th. Like we are legitimately into November.
It's Wakanda week on the John Campea Show.
It is. We're within a week of Wakanda open up, which I'm super excited about. Now, before, though, we get into the topics, I wanted, as we often do here on Open Mic, wanted to harken back to one of the things we talked about on the John Campea Show earlier today, the Harry Potter stuff. Now, for those of you maybe who weren't able to join us this morning for the John Campea Show, one of the things we talked about is that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav talked during the earnings call that they are focused on franchises particularly, and he drew attention to two in particular. One, Superman, which you already knew they're making a lot of moves there. But number two is Harry Potter, not Fantastic Beasts, Harry Potter. And he wants more Harry Potter movies. And and he's talking about, talking to J.K. Rowling and stuff like that. Now, we went through that a bit this morning. I am surprised to see a number of people has sent me some comments on you can recast it. And this is funny. You know me. Actors are just pieces to the puzzle, and they're interchangeable. You can replace actors. You should replace actors. If your lighting guy is sick, you can bring in another lighting guy. If the person playing that role won't do it, bring in somebody else to play that role. The actors are replaceable. I'm that guy. I'm always singing that song. But there, as with any rule in life, there are exceptions. And I just don't know that if the original, I'm not talking about any of the, I don't care about the one who played, what's the name of the guy who actually killed the snake? The one, I don't know why I'm looking at you. You would
Sirius
know.
Black?
No, the one of the students, Neville.
Oh, Neville, yeah.
If the guy who played Neville didn't want to come back, and they replaced him, I don't think the audience would revolt, all that kind of stuff. But I think the Harry Potter fandom would lose their minds if you tried to do a Harry Potter movie without Rupert, Emma, and Daniel.
The big three.
What's that?
The big three.
The big three. Yeah, I think you have to have the big three there. Now, I also said during this morning show that, look, if one of the three, let's say Emma, decided she's the only one that didn't want to come back, Daniel and Rupert did, all the directors on board, the studio's on board, everybody's ready to go. Okay, if you must, then replace her. Recast her. That's fine. But, I was just kind of surprised to see the number of people that sent me comments saying, they're adults now, so you can just recast all of them. And that's normally how I would think, but I just don't know that the Harry Potter, the Potterheads would be into that at all. I think if you're missing one of them, that's borderline. Two of them, I think, is a non-starter, and replacing all three of them, I think is an absolute no-go. I don't think they'll do that at all. You got something on that,
I just want to say one thing. It's my favorite Harry Potter is still the first one. And it's because there were kids. That's the reason why I think I didn't get into the Fantastic Beasts. I just saw a whole bunch of old people with wands. I just like the thing with the wonder of picking out your wand, enjoy the environment, the thing. Not to put down.
It takes the YA out of it for sure.
But I want a true reboot, a new Harry, a young Harry. If she's gonna write a new story, they've done their time. Like these three, we love them. They were great. Let's just go back and make them kids again.
But do people want to see Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire again?
No, but if she's writing a new story, it could be Harry Potter and something else. And with these three kids, I just think the wizard and the magic stuff, it loses its touch with me when they start getting older. There's no more fantasy. It's all not fun. It got really serious at the end of the series.
Yeah.
And I really like the first one because
But I think, look, we're going through a period of time where, say, I know it's not your favorite, but like Cobra Kai.
Right.
If they couldn't have got the original actors to come back, they wouldn't have made that show. They had to get Ralph Macchio to come back.
Well, the whole concept of the show is
play
kind of built on that.
Yeah,
right?
and I think that we now live in a world, we see all these new reboots. I mean, they're bringing Frasier back.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Kelsey Grammer playing Frasier, you don't have a show.
Yeah.
You can't recast. And I think we live in a world, what I find really interesting is it's a whole, I don't know why, nostalgia, maybe it's where we're at in our culture. But all of these reboots of shows, they revived Will and Grace. Top Gun Maverick. You can't do Top Gun without Tom Cruise. You know, they bring him back after 36 years. We're getting Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley. And I do think that there's something, especially like in Top Gun, they really leaned into where he was at. Like it was the end of an era.
Yeah.
Fighter pilots are going away. Drones are replacing fighter pilots. And there's something inherent to the subject matter that makes it interesting. Now, I would love to see a Harry Potter movie. Like, what happens when students grow up and matriculate into the real world? They go to college. They're now they're having Muggle babies themselves or whatever. Do they have Muggle babies? I don't know. Do they have wizard babies? I don't know. But it would be really interesting to catch up with those characters at 35. You know, and if she wrote a series of books and their responsibilities have changed, what do wizards do? If you go to the wizarding world or the wizarding school, what do you do? What is your responsibility to the world at large with this kind of power? And I think there's you could tell a lot of really good stories with them. I don't know if anybody, only because the world we're in now, the post Cobra Kai, post Top Gun, post Frasier, the world where the actors are brought back in the same, could you recast them? And I'm like, if they're older, you could. Because then there's that time jump, just like we saw in House of the Dragon.
Yeah, except we watched those, as Ray was pointing out, these kids
Grow up.
We watched them grow up.
Yeah.
And we have look at them.
I mean, how crazy is that?
Look at those children. And then fast forward to throw up one of those other pictures there, Taylor. And then you fast forward and suddenly they look, well, that's not 1,000. Give us one of those ones where they're more grown up again that you had on there a second ago. But at any rate, yeah, you go from that.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. So like, if it was just the first, look at that.
Wow.
If it was just the first Harry Potter movie, and then it was 25 years later, you could recast. But we watched these kids grow up to the point where they were young adults. And it would be very, very difficult, I think. So I still think it's going to happen. I do. I really do think it's going to happen.
I do too. I think they're going to make more.
I do.
But I do think
agree.
she's got to write a book first.
I agree with that too. I think she's going to write some books first. They'll sell 1 billion copies and then they'll make movies out of them. Anyway, guys, we are here to hear your thoughts and opinions, questions, field your topics you guys want us to talk about. So let's get into that right now and jump over to the super chat. So Rob, what do we got?
Well, John, we start with Russell Amador, who says, Fabelmans and Knives Out drop same day. What do you see first?
I am more excited about Fabelmans, but I'm not going to lie. I would probably go see Glass Onion first. I've been really excited to see it, but I feel an urgency to see that one.
I got to tell you, that to me sounds like a delightful double feature.
I was thinking the same. The same.
That's what a great double feature. You go see one, have a nice meal, then see the other.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Russell Amador sends in another one. Enola 2 is out now. Skip or watch? Talk to me.
I'm skipping it.
I like the first one.
I did not think the first one was offensively bad or anything like that, but I also didn't think it was all that good. So I was like, like you had some tremendous talent in there, including our boy Henry and Millie. I really like Millie Bobby Brown. I like her a lot. I like the supporting cast that was in there, but frankly, I thought it was a rather dull movie. I didn't think, again, not offensively bad. I didn't hate it, but I felt no urge at the end of it to go, I can't wait to watch the next one. So I'm probably going to take a pass on it.
Elizabeth liked the first one, so I'll have to.
That's good enough.
Watch the second
All right,
one.
what's next?
Russell Amador comes on again to say, better show, Ren and Stimpy or Beavis and Butthead?
That's
Ren and
easy.
Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy.
I love Beavis and Butthead, but Ren and Stimpy had better writing.
100%.
That show, its humor, like even though it was the more vulgar side of humor, it was so ahead of its time. And I mean, oh my God, those guys were funny. Like Beavis and Butthead, honestly, I never got the appeal of Beavis and Butthead. I really didn't. But Ren and Stimpy killed me.
But their new movie is great.
I haven't seen it. Is it good?
It was good. I watched
good.
it. I mean, like you said, this is just idiot humor. Ren and Stimpy, for all of it was pretty witty.
Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. I mean, come on, that has stuck with me for like 30 years. All right, what's next?
I still want to push the red button.
Push the red button, the shiny red button. Love that.
Jasmine Jones says, my birthday is on the 14th, and I'm going to Disneyland. Then I'm going to watch Wakanda Forever and get to see the Encanto cast perform at the Hollywood Bowl on the 12th.
Nice.
And I'm watching Disenchanted on the 18th. I'm telling you, Jasmine, that's a week.
That's a good week. Well, first of all, fuck Disneyland. I will never set foot in that godforsaken hellhole again. That aside, Wakanda Forever, that sounds delightful and wonderful. Did I say that out loud? I did say, yeah, fuck Disneyland. But everything else, the Enchanted, or the
Disenchanted.
No,
Encanto.
Encanto. The Encanto in concert. That sounds cool. I've gone to several of these in concert things at the Hollywood Bowl. They're always fun.
Oh, yeah.
Always fun. And that I might try to see if I can get tickets to that myself, because I think that would be a lot of fun.
It would be a lot of fun.
All right, what's next?
Jasmine Jones goes on to say, have you seen the trailer for the Santa Claus series that's coming on the 16th? I'm interested in seeing how it turns out. And most of the original cast is in it. And the hip hop Nutcracker looks fun.
We talking about the Tim Allen one?
Oh, yeah. Is that a series?
Well, they've done a number. Oh, is it?
No. This is hip hop. And I was telling Taylor, I got a flashback to my post-production days, because when we were there, we had footage to the hip hop Nutcracker live performance, and we were tasked with cutting a promo with voiceover and all of that for it. And I'm just like, oh God, no.
It really is the
But
hip
this is
hop
like
Nutcracker.
obviously like a big take. The thing I was doing was like a live performance.
Is that? That's
I'll watch
not
that.
Reverend Run, is it?
Yes, I think it is.
It is?
Oh, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll watch it.
I have never even heard of it. Okay, interesting. All right, what's next?
Lyrical flow better be good. Sam Fisher says, 1 of 3. I started concurrently reading and listening to The Sandman for the first time. I knew the Netflix show was accurate. I didn't realize how accurate, like literally. The only important differences are the outside connections to the DC, the Corinthian being introduced earlier, and he basically dumps exposition. Up until episode 7, Rose knowing she's the Vortex before the convention, and Rose being a part of the Corinthians' plan, and it not just being a coincidence. Sam, I'm right there with you. I felt the same thing about it, and I'll tell you, those changes were better for the story, especially when it's translated into a TV show.
All right.
Streaming series.
All right, what's next?
The audiobooks are incredible, by the way. Ninth Shinigami says, I'm watching One Piece tonight. I'm really excited. I feel it's going to make my top 5 favorite of the year.
It might take him a year to do it.
But that's not the new one.
Must be. Yeah, it's the new one's dropping in theaters, right?
I guess it is. Is
Yeah.
it One Piece? Okay, got it.
Yeah, they're projecting like 14 to 16 million
That's what we talked about
opening.
that today. I was thinking the live action show. But
yeah,
no.
I'm not saying, like, somebody misunderstood and said John doesn't like One Piece. No, I've never seen One Piece, so I can neither say that I like nor dislike it. I've just never seen it. So it just, the way people describe it to me, it just doesn't sound like it's for me. That's all.
It's yeah.
Why is it called One Piece? What's the title meaning?
I have no idea.
No idea.
It's about
Bathing
pirating.
suit?
Pirating.
Oh, I thought it was about bathing suit design. Okay, about piracy. Okay.
No, yeah, pirating.
All right, what's next?
One piece of gold. J Dubs, aka John Williams, sends in a super chat and says, huge Man of Steel fan. Those that aren't are weird, in my opinion. Will the sequel be as good without Snyder and Hans Zimmer? I love Zimmer and y'all.
Well, who says Hans Zimmer wouldn't be a part of it?
Who says Zack Snyder would be a part of it?
Yeah, I
know.
highly
He's
doubt.
busy. He's doing Rebel Moon.
I mean, yeah, listen, there are, I like Zack Snyder as a filmmaker very much. I love what he did with Man of Steel, but Zack Snyder's not a top 10 director in the world. There are other, and even directors who may not be as good as Zack Snyder may come into Man of Steel and bring a totally fresh, totally different approach to it and make it 10 times better. But here's the thing. It doesn't need to be as good as Man of Steel or better than Man of Steel. All I ever care about going into these things is just give me a good movie. And if you can make it as good as the last one, bonus. If you can make it better than the last one, extra bonus. But yeah, can it be as good or better without Zack Snyder? It absolutely can. It can also go the other way and be completely worse, but it absolutely can be as good or better as if Zack Snyder did it. Absolutely. And I don't see why we would ever assume that Hans Zimmer wouldn't be a part of it.
I know.
All
I'm
right.
with you.
What's next?
CJ Rebirth says, what are your guys' thoughts on Warm Bodies? It's one of my favorite zombie Romeo and Juliet inspired films.
There's a couple of fatal flaws in the narrative of it that really don't make sense. But overall, I quite enjoyed this movie.
I did too. I totally agree with you. I enjoyed it.
And speaking of Nicholas Hoult, who's going to be coming up in the menu this month, very excited to see him in that. And Teresa Palmer, who has just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
I really like her. I like her a lot. She's not always in the best movies or wasn't always in the best. But I don't know why she's disappeared. She's like a more talented version of why am I freezing on Johnny Depp's
Amber
ex?
Heard.
Oh, Amber Heard.
Yeah, she's a more talented version of Amber Heard.
Yeah.
I actually quite like her a lot.
And I really like, Nicholas Hoult was the boy in About a Boy, and I love that. We've seen him grow up on camera as well.
Totally forgot about that.
I know, right? When he was a little kid.
He's also Beast.
Yes, he's Beast, and he's in The Great.
Oh, and you know what? He was also I think he played C.S. Lewis.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
Anyway, all right, what's next?
Angel Leon says, if you could play a video game on a theater screen, which game would you choose? Me, God of War, or Alien Isolation would be great in a movie theater.
Mario Kart. No, seriously, I
I'd get
think I'm
sick.
joking, but I'm dead serious. Mario Kart on a giant-sized movie screen, because we've played a little bit of Mario Kart in the theater room at home, and we played a couple games. It's fine playing them on the giant screen, but for some reason with Mario Kart, it's like a whole different experience.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think I'd have to play Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, that would be kind of fun too.
I would do that. Maybe I just kind of thought of Ghost of Tsushima because it's so beautiful.
So-
that would be
cinematic
that would be
looking.
amazing. I
Yeah.
gotta bring my figure of that. Open it up one day.
Ooh,
right,
I
what's
didn't know you
next?
had one.
Oh yeah. James Argenta says, Gilroy confirmed that Andor season 2 is going to Yavin 4. I guess it would have to. Do you think they will film in Guatemala or just use archive footage for exterior shots? I could see them sending a second unit team to shoot at Tykel National Forest, National Park.
But the reality is, how many exterior shots are you going to really need? Like, you could literally, you're right. It doesn't even have to be a second unit. You could literally send a college kid with a Sony ZV-1 down there and take some footage and edit it in. Most of it's going to be on sets that are built or some
Right.
green screen or volume. But
But it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Get some drone overhead shots.
They could
and
definitely
stuff.
afford to send a second director down there.
yeah, just capture some B-roll footage and that's it. But do they have to send the cast and crew
No.
and everything down
Take
there?
some
I don't
dudes
think
and
so.
take some extras down there and just shoot the movie.
Apparently, they start shooting season 2 in like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's maybe they can squeeze it into 2023. Who knows? All right, what's next?
Josh Becker says, y'all, Banshees of Inisherin broke me, but it was amazing. My favorite movie of the year. The acting by everyone was also stellar.
Yep, finally have our tickets to go see it this weekend. Very, very excited about that.
I think I'm going to see it this weekend. Too.
I mean, I had this one marked down the day they announced it. I mean, just coming off of all the work that they had done before. I love the individual actors. I love the director themselves. I love their previous project together. Everything about this just sings. And I think there's gonna be a lot of Oscar buzz around this movie. But finally gonna see it this weekend.
yeah.
All right, what's next?
Jason Bryden says, last Terrifier 2 mention, I promise. But have any of you seen that it was submitted for an Oscar? It's obviously not going to get nominated for anything, but the banter online about it has been amusing.
Look, you gotta understand, anybody can submit anything for an Oscar. If you meet the qualifying eligibility rules, you can then, which most movies do meet them, you can submit it for an Oscar. I don't expect to see Terrifier 2 taking home any gold that night or nominated, but yes, anything can be submitted for an Oscar.
Amazing.
All right, what's next?
And it is amusing banter. Fry Minis says, sad to hear Westworld had a violent end after all.
Yeah, so we'll probably talk about this on the John Campea Show on Monday, but apparently Westworld got canceled. Probably was due.
Yeah.
I honestly, And now somebody in this room may speak up and correct me, but I honestly don't know anybody that's still watching the show.
You know, I heard season 4 was pretty good. I have not watched season 4.
That's the thing. I've heard that, but I don't actually know anybody. I know many people who have watched the show. I don't know anybody that still watches it.
It was an odd show.
I gave up on it about halfway through season 2, maybe a little more than halfway.
Handsomely made, well acted. I don't think they really had a handle on everything they wanted to go for. It kept changing.
Right.
Well, it was really interesting. I just don't think it entirely succeeded. But 4 seasons is very respectable.
Oh yeah, in today's age,
Yeah.
yeah, it absolutely is.
Totally
is.
Did they have any gaps? It feels like it's been on longer than 4 years.
Oh, I think it has, but
That's
you know,
it then,
maybe
huh?
Yeah, there was.
between
I think there was a
seasons or something.
massive
Oh.
gap between 2 and 3.
Yeah.
But there was probably because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Might be, but I thought there was another big delay. Like there was the season. What was the season 3 that Aaron Paul showed up?
Yeah.
I think there. I might not be remembering this right, but I thought there was a big gap between 2 and 3.
Is it true that the set of the show burnt down? Was that a delay for the show?
Yeah, one of them, remember that fire in LA?
Right.
Yeah, it did burn down.
Oh, one of their set.
Yeah, yeah.
Did not know that.
There you
All
go.
right, what's next?
Brandon Nazamuddin says, you guys seen White Lotus? Season 2 premiere was awesome.
No,
Everybody
not yet.
tells me the show is great, and I've not seen a single episode. But I didn't know Aubrey Plaza was in it, so I think I might have to just go back and start watching season 1, get caught up for season 2.
Season 1 was good. I watched it again because of Elizabeth. It was good. Well, we
Yeah,
haven't
I
started season 2 yet.
I haven't seen Michael Imperioli like perform at this kind of age now. I've only remember him from like, Sopranos age.
By the
Do you
way,
know Aaron was and he was Aaron's co-star in that what was it called? They did Michael Imperioli and Aaron did a show together, and it only lasted 1 season, unfortunately.
Wait, was it Life on Mars?
No, it was Detroit 187.
No, that was it. Detroit 187 wasn't Life on Mars.
yeah.
I loved that, and I had no idea that she was on that.
That was her show. Yeah,
I loved it.
She was the medical examiner.
Yeah, and there was a
on
big
the show.
twist at the end.
Yep.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's too bad about that one. What basic? Just in a quick 30 seconds. What's the show about? I have no idea.
it's about a group of people at a resort.
Okay.
And
Is it called The Resort?
no, but they're dealing with their interconnected lives.
All right.
And
I recognize the guy from Epic Quest.
there's shenanigans from the people that work at the resort, or it's like a hotel,
Okay.
and then the guests.
I've heard nothing but incredible things about it. All right, what's next?
Fry Mini says, I hope Tim Gunn can pick up Guardians of the Galaxy after James Gunn.
Is Tim Gunn a real person?
Isn't he the fashion guy?
I have no idea.
I think that was a joke.
All right.
Yeah, I have to look that
What's
up.
next?
Alex Mata says, do you think that Gotham Knights will be the end of DC on the CW?
No. Should it?
Because the CW got sold.
I thought the CW is rebranding.
Yeah, it is. It got
Yeah,
sold.
and they got
to different-
sold and all that kind of stuff. But I remember reading that Warner Brothers, the production arm of Warner Brothers, is still going to create content that the CW and can carry. So I don't think it's going to be the end of DC on CW. I don't know of any specific projects that might be coming down the pipe, but I'm going to guess we will see more out there. They've had some success, and they're not terribly expensive to make.
Right.
So it's worth taking a couple of swings at the bat, I guess. We'll see. All right, what's next?
I live my life a quarter mile at a time. Miss Rona swiped right, so now I'm quarantined and getting caught up on shows and movies I'm behind on, and I'm having an A24 movie marathon.
There you go.
Well,
Listen, I got a lot of love for A24 and a lot of their movies. I would recommend not marathoning A24 movies. I don't know. It can do something to your perception of the world.
unless you're going back and forth between Everything Everywhere All at Once and like Lamb.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think if you really want to get through a whole bunch of A24, I think you got to partition them out. I think you do an A24 film, something else. An A24 film.
One for you, one for them. One
Yeah,
for you, one
I
for
think
them.
you got to. I love A24, I do, but I think you got to take them in certain doses.
It's true.
All right, what's next?
Bond Presents says, I watched Weird Al. It was hilarious.
Yes, it is.
If you didn't catch it, there's a great fake fan letter you can read on his Hollywood Star of Fame at 1 hour 41 minutes and 41 seconds.
Okay, so I already did my review of this a few weeks ago, but this movie is so unexpectedly funny. I'm a big fan of UHF.
Yeah.
This movie completely blows UHF away. It really, really does. And there are I would go so far. I don't think it's hyperbole to say there were a good dozen moments that I was laughing hysterically. Like a good comedy will have you chuckling and giggling and maybe have 4 or 5 big laugh out loud moments. This thing had like a dozen or more huge laugh out loud moments. Like I just can't get over it. And I don't know. Look, I come to it from the perspective of somebody who grew up with Weird Al. So maybe somebody else won't get the same. I can't say because I don't know. But oh my God, the theater I saw it in, we were at the LA premiere of it a couple of weeks ago. That audience was dying. It was so fun and so funny. You absolutely got to check it out. All right, what's next?
Justin Seymour says, if Disney wasn't making the big content push for Disney Plus, do you think the Marvel Star Wars shows would have been movies or simply not made at all?
I think not made at all. I mean, look, Obi-Wan probably would have eventually made its way on screen, and actually Boba Fett probably would have eventually. But I think there are certain stories that came about in their minds because they had this new avenue to do it with a series thing. So I think, yeah, a couple of them probably would have come to fruition anyway. A couple of them wouldn't. That's my guess.
Yep.
All right, guys, hey, listen, before we keep moving on here, we're going to take a second to thank the sponsor of our show, our friends, my phone service provider, Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month. And now for the plot twist. I'm just kidding. There isn't one. Mint Mobile just has premium wireless from $15 a month. There's no trapping you into a 2-year contract or opening the bill to find all these crazy fees. There's no luring you in with free subscriptions to streaming services that you'll forget to cancel and be charged full price for. With my old wireless provider, every month when I opened the bill, it was like playing roulette. I never knew how big the bill was going to be, and it always seemed to get bigger. With Mint Mobile, it's totally different. I know exactly how little I'm paying every month, and there's never any surprises. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or a family. And at Mint Mobile, families start at just 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And guys, you get to use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. So transferring over couldn't be easier. So to get premium wireless from just $15 a month and no unexpected plot twists, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. You'll make your wallet very happy at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of Open Mic. All right, with that, let's keep going on with your questions, shall we, Rob? What's next?
What is next is Fry Minis is back. Does the capital city in Wakanda have a name? I don't think it's like Vatican, since Jabari have their own city. I know Rob needs this world building.
That's a really good question because, you know, we introduced a bunch of the different tribes, the River Tribe and so on and so forth. So it's not just one city. It must have multiple. You know what? That's a good question. I don't ever recall hearing the name of their capital city. Or, you know, for that matter, all we've ever seen is the one city.
Right. Right.
I'm going to Google it right now. But go ahead.
I'm assuming Wakanda is more than just the one city, but that's a very good question. We'll have to keep it. So if Jonathan finds something for that, we'll let you know. All right, what's next?
Norm Jr. 100 says, enough of the Mephisto rumors. Just introduce them already so that Ghost Rider can finally join the MCU.
Well, remember, I mean, it's not Marvel putting out the Mephisto rumors. That's us. That's the individual fans. That's fans doing that. That had nothing to do with Marvel. So I don't even know if they have any plans for Mephisto at all. I mean, an Agatha would be an okay place to introduce Mephisto, I suppose. But
it's Mephisto all along, John.
It's been Mephisto all along. So yeah, don't blame them. So what do we got, Jonathan?
Capital city is Bernin Zana.
Wow.
All right. There we go. Maybe
it's
it'll
2
get
words.
mentioned
Bernin
in
Zana.
Bernin Zana. Okay.
Maybe that'll get mentioned in the new movie.
Wow.
All right. What's next?
Only Giovanni all the time says, John, what movie moment made you feel the same as It's a Glaze?
Oh God. I don't know, but I'll tell you what. Like whenever people ask me about a movie that got a huge emotional response from me, I always go back to the James Earl Jones, Eric Roberts martial arts film, Best of the Best. When Daehan, broken and beaten, limps across the aisle, takes his gold medal off and puts it on Tommy and says, I offer myself as your new brother. That is the most manly moment ever in any movie. And I get chills thinking about it. But yeah, something along those lines.
I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah, like that. If you guys have not seen this movie, it's kind of like Black Adam. It's bad in many ways, but oh my God, it's also awesome. I love this movie so much. Go check it out if you get a chance.
It's got like the Lost Boys font up there.
It's actually, the poster got a little bit of a Lost Boys feel to it too. Not a great movie poster. Anyway, all right, what's next?
What are you going to do? Mickey Bell says, I'm excited at the prospect of Angela Bassett, Jamie Lee Curtis, and maybe even Whoopi Goldberg and Till getting Best Supporting Actress nods at the Oscars.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg was on the industry list a little further down. Like she's considered an outlier to maybe get an Academy Award, but it looks like Jamie Lee Curtis is definitely, which I was surprised to see. Like when I was going through the list and looking at the names and everything, I was kind of surprised to see right up there with Angela Bassett was Jamie Lee Curtis's, but I'm totally for it.
Yeah.
I'm all for it for her role and everything everywhere. So I think those two are pretty much a lock right now. All right, what's next?
Jay Bling says, here is the Spider-Man China statute issue. The statue itself has nothing to do with China, but it resembles something that has to do with China. I guess that is harking back to the necklace or the amulet.
I don't, let me see. Bring that up again, Taylor. I want to see. Here's the Spider-Man /China statue issue. The statue itself is nothing to do with China, but it resembles something that has to do with China. I thought it was just they didn't want to see the Statue of Liberty.
Spider-Man. Oh, Statue of Liberty.
I thought they just didn't want to see. Oh, well, okay. I mean, I honestly don't really care a lot about international politics, but
I mean, the Statue of Liberty is an actual thing that exists at a place in New York City.
yeah. So I don't honestly know what the issue is. But look, the reality is that China doesn't need an excuse to ban a movie. They only, like by their own laws, they only let so many Western films in.
Right.
And it's not a big number. It's a small number. So I don't know if there was a particular reason that they kept Spider-Man out, or if it's just, no, we're not going to let that be one of the movies. Don't know.
Good question.
All right, what's next?
Yander Prid says, Mark Ruffalo as an aging Billy Joel biopic.
Is that actually happened, or you're asking about X-Actor?
I think the X-Actor. I think they're just saying, would you watch that?
I don't care.
Yeah.
No, I never care. Like as long as you get an actor who's talented in a role, then I'm fine.
And you could never find somebody that would convince me she's Christy Brinkley. Just saying. Just saying.
All right, what's next?
Maybe her daughter, maybe. Corey M says, Andor has set the standard for how good a Disney Plus show is. I don't need other shows to have the same tone, but I want them to have the same quality. Also, love the show.
Well, I mean, okay. Every network wants their show to be Emmy worthy.
Yeah.
Every network wants every show they make to be Emmy worthy. Every movie that gets made and every show that gets made, when they're sitting down and looking at the scripts and they're envisioning it, they all think this is going to be the next big thing. And it's not until you start shooting it and putting it together till you really find out what you want. But listen, I am completely there with you. The quality of Andor is right up there with WandaVision. Like WandaVision and Andor to me represent what is possible with Disney Plus, what they can do and can be, right? So we'll say Mandalorian, Andor, WandaVision, Ms. Marvel, like these, really the two, Andor and WandaVision, but if you want to include Mandalorian and Ms. Marvel as well, these are the shows that represent, this is the potential of Disney Plus. Now, unfortunately, most of their shows don't live up to that potential, but we see what they can do. And seeing something like Andor come out, it does raise my faith in the whole platform of Disney Plus that they can deliver that quality of stuff. I hope they continue. All
Agreed.
right, what's next?
Ben Rayner says, this is what you don make the kids professors at Hogwarts.
This is probably what you do.
Yeah, this is probably, this is what you do. Make the kids professors at Hogwarts and make the stories around a new group of students.
Again, my one question, by the way, Ben tipped in like $20 there. Thank you so much for your support, Ben. I appreciate that, man. You get into the problem that I brought up on the John Campea Show earlier. Are fans going to want what happened in Star Wars, where you get the beloved characters, but they're taking a back seat to really introduce, the new class, Saved by the Bell, the new class.
Right.
Like, is that,
He's belding now.
yeah, is that what they want to do? Really? I'm really more all for, like, yeah, they're professors at Hogwarts now, but now make a movie. It's always been from the student's perspective. Make a movie at Hogwarts from the professor's perspective. And that's our original beloved cast. And maybe even have Harry as being, the next in line to be, what's Dumbledore's title?
Headmaster.
What's that?
Headmaster.
Like where Harry's like the next headmaster, he's next in line. So you got somebody else as headmaster right now. It can't be Maggie Smith, unfortunately, but you can get somebody else as the headmaster there now. And he's next. Everybody knows he's next in line to be headmaster. I don't know. That could be an interesting movie. A Hogwarts show or movie told from the perspective of the professors, and it's the characters that we know and love. Could be interesting. All right, what's next?
I have to show you guys this. I was Googling a picture to see what the cast looks like now, and this is what came up. How creepy is that?
Wow.
Yes.
That is creepy.
Wow.
That's when he becomes headmaster.
That's the 50th anniversary of Harry Potter party right there. That's
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
What
what's
we can
next?
do with technology, John. Aldo Morgan says, "Hi, John. I've been a fan since the AMC days, and even though I love you, I almost never agree with you in most movies. No hate. I just find it funny. Love from Mexico."
Well, I mean, that's perfectly good, like, because here's the part, and that's okay. Not everybody can be right. But this is the thing that I always say. This is the great part about film fandom is that, I always say on my show, whenever somebody writes to me and says, "Oh man, I always agree with your things," I'm like, well, that's dangerous because you're not always going to. And nor should we. We as fans have different perceptions, different backgrounds, different things that we're sensitive to, or that we really enjoy, and everything will hit us in different ways. That's why I always say when we're talking about this show, and I always tell people who are asking me about YouTubing and stuff like that, I will remind them of this. My job is not to say things that you agree with. That is not my job. Nor is it my job to convince you to agree with me. That is also not my job. Too many YouTubers today, they think they have to say always what the popular thing is to say, or else people won't like them unless they say what everybody agrees with. And well, you're never going to find anything that everybody agrees with. Or they're like, I got to get these people to understand why I'm right and they're wrong. No, see, here's what my job is. My job is to tell you my opinion and tell it to you in such a way that will help you sharpen your own opinion, whether it's the same as mine or the opposite of mine. Because if we walk away from our conversation and you feel like I have a better idea and I'm even more sharp and focused about why I agree with John on that, or if you walk away saying I'm even more clear now about why I take the opposite side of that than John does or whatever, if that's what happens, then I've done my job. Like, that's all I really care about. I never care if people agree or disagree with me. I just want us as film fans to have really cool discussions, exploring different points of view with each other. And we all like what we like and we don't like what we don't like. And it's all good.
Well put.
So I love the fact that we have viewers of our show who 90% of the time will agree with everything I say. I love the fact that we have viewers of our show who a lot of the time will disagree with what I say. That's what healthy discourse about movies should be about. Anyway, thank you for that comment. I appreciate it.
I mean, we have pundits on the show that don't agree. That's the point of having each other on here.
It's true.
All right, what's next?
Dallas Designer says Andor feels like the House of Cards of Star Wars.
Well, you know what? Tone-wise, it's not far off tone-wise.
I mean, it doesn't have the wry, dark humor.
No,
of
and
House
it
of
doesn't have
Cards.
the narrative structure similarities at all. But if you're just talking about pure tone,
Yep.
I could see that. Yeah, I could get on board with that. All right, what's next?
CJ Rebirth says, I love that even though their characters died, Jason Lee and James Woods continue to voice their Disney characters from video games to ice shows.
Do they do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know James Woods still did that. I know they don't name the school in Family Guy James Wood High anymore.
Right.
They got rid of that. What they named it after Batman. West.
Adam West.
Adam West. They renamed. I think they renamed the school and thing to Adam West School. But that's actually pretty good that he still does the voice. He
Yes.
was a great Hades.
He was a great 80s.
What's next?
9.8 slabs only. I love that. You were right, John. Banshees of Inisherin is more in theaters this weekend. I won't have to drive 40 miles into Brooklyn to see it.
Right. So I remember it would get brought up. It's like, hold on, it's playing, but it's nowhere near me. It's like, that's because Banshees of Inisherin is employing a tactic that isn't used nearly as often as it used to be, but still is once in a while, which is called the slow rollout. Now, the vast majority of movies today, when they open, they open. But some studios will still take some of their films and do a slow rollout. They'll roll out, they'll start with 4 cities. And then in a week or two, they'll be in 30 cities. And then maybe another week after that, it'll be in 500 cities, right? That's the approach they took with Banshees of Inisherin. And I'm glad it's now at a theater near you. All right, what's next?
Tracy Dale says, I just heard HBO canceled the last season of Westworld.
Yep.
It was uneven at times, but sad we won't get the final season. Thoughts?
In many ways, I'm the wrong guy to ask because I did tap out of the show before the end of the second season. I actually thought the second season started pretty strong. They were doing Samurai World and
Yep.
things like that. But then I found it went downhill pretty quickly, and I didn't even make it through to the end of the second season. Yeah. It was a show to me that was more about look at our lofty concepts, but without ever really figuring out the mechanics of those concepts.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I can't comment on season 3 because I never did watch it, but I kind of, you know what it is? When I first read that they canceled Westworld, my first thought was I didn't realize it was still on. So I don't know. What do you think about that?
I feel the same way. I mean, I think it was overly complex, and they were too, especially in the first season with the way that they were lying to us, John. They were lying in terms of what time periods we were in, and I get it. It was fine, but at the end of the day, I'm like, look, tell me a straightforward story. Don't withhold things. You're basically lying to me. So you're not allowing me to understand what you're trying to do. And then it becomes a shocker at the end. And you're supposed to go, oh, now I get it, when everything comes together. And they kind of did that all the way through. They tried to make the show smarter than it really was because they didn't quite know exactly, like you said, the mechanics of what they were doing.
Here's a good example. They would introduce some things like in season 1, these lofty concept ideas, right? And then I notice a couple of them in season 2. It's like, wait a minute. What you just did there, that's not what you had in mind when you introduced this in season 1. I could tell now you're just scrambling to come up with some way. I don't know. But listen, I know a couple of people who absolutely loved that show, and I feel bad for people who were big fans of Westworld and were still watching it. But from my perspective, yeah, it feels like it was its time.
Yeah,
All right.
I agree.
What's next?
Alan Gonzalez says, do you have a desire for a certain movie? Me, I want a good zombie movie.
I'm kind of over the whole zombie genre, to be honest with you. I mean, at the end of the day, with a few exceptions, zombie movies are all the same. They are basically all the functionally. Now, you get your odd one that's a little bit different. Warm Bodies is one of them. Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead. You know, you get your odd one that's a little bit different, but I'm a little over zombie movies.
I got to tell you, I mean, I got my favorite zombie movie back in 1979, which is Dawn of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead. But, you know, there was one I really like called The Girl with All the Gifts that I thought was
know that one.
It's really good. And it's different in that they're trying to figure out what's wrong with, but kids aren't affected. And it goes from there. It's really interesting. But the problem with zombie movies is they're kind of locked into a formula they can't really get out of. Once you have the zombie apocalypse, then what do you do?
Didn't Elijah Wood do like a zombie movie recently where like him and a bunch of other people are school teachers and the kids in the school start turning into
I
zombies?
think so.
I can't remember. If any of you guys in the live chat know the one that we're talking
Well,
about.
then there was the Korean show. All of us are
Yeah,
dead.
Train to Busan.
well, you know what? I actually didn't like All of Us Are Dead.
Yeah.
I thought it was
All of Us
rather
Are Dead. I thought you meant Train to Busan.
well. Train to Busan was awesome.
Train to Busan,
Yeah, Train to
was,
Busan
awesome.
was awesome. Yeah,
it was awesome.
I think this is the movie we're talking about, right?
Yes, that is
Yeah.
it. I think that's it.
Cooties.
I mean, I liked that they were kind of like comedy with adventure or Zombieland. It was sort of like Shaun of the Dead. Kind
Yeah.
of took a comedy bit, but I mean, look, you're gonna get The Last of Us. I know they're not the undead, but it's kind of like the undead.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Sam Fisher says, if you're gaming, do you bring back Ian McShane to play Odin in Sandman like he did in American Gods? You know, that would be cool. I don't think they could do that, though. I don't think you could get away, even though Odin's not a copywritten character, but Ian McShane's portrayal of Odin is. I don't know if you do that. Because then you make it a sequel.
Did you watch American Gods?
Yeah,
I watched season 1,
which I loved.
and I really enjoyed season 1. It's like a Better Call Saul. I saw season 1, really liked it, and then I forgot all about it, and I never did watch the second
They
season.
got rid of Michael Green and Brian Fuller. They wanted more
didn't know
money.
that.
Yeah. So it changes drastically.
Got it.
I love the first season of American Gods, but then it just wasn't as good.
All right. What's next?
Yander Prid says Michelle Yeoh for Best Actress. Who's your pick?
There's too many of the big ones still upcoming.
I agree.
That I think are really going to dominate it. I do think Michelle Yeoh is going to get a nomination, but considering I have not seen Cate Blanchett in Tar yet, considering that I have not seen Michelle Williams yet in Fabelmans, considering like there's just too many of the really big potentials to come out for me to give any kind of a pick as to who's going to win it at this point.
I agree.
Ask me in a couple of months. All right,
Agreed.
what's next?
I have a pick for Best Actress. I'm really sorry. I don't remember the name of the actress, but the one who plays the mom in Till, she gave one of the most, I don't know, like powerful performances I've ever seen in film. It was crazy.
I mean, there is talk. I don't know the actress either, but that film, it has, it's for a movie. It has a lot of buzz. Everyone says it's incredible,
All right, what's next?
and it's opening wide. I think this weekend.
Yes, it is.
Lando says, "Hey guys, did you guys see the training MMA footage of Charlie Cox? And also, will Daredevil be the most realistic, grounded show in the MCU?"
Who knows?
No and no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard that about that footage, but I didn't see that.
No,
footage.
I didn't see the footage either, but I mean, I think it's great that they're going through it and getting anytime you can get the actor actually doing the action, great. I mean, it doesn't have to do it, but the more you can, it's like Tom Cruise's philosophy. The
I
more
agree.
it can actually be the real actor doing the stuff, the more grounded it'll feel. If his appearance in She-Hulk is any sign of it, I don't.
No, because even I noticed like when he was like jumping away from her, he was doing flips that a normal human couldn't, and that's not what the Daredevil in the Netflix show was doing.
Well, forget about what about the jumping off the building thing?
That's
and
what I
then
mean.
so, like all the
Yeah.
CGI
Yeah.
of
Really
the
upped his
building.
power. And I mean, he does that in the comics, so I was fine with it. Most grounded, I'd say, was Punisher on Netflix.
I mean, yeah, the Punisher one was that's exactly where my mind went to, but that's not really in the MCU.
MCU, no, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, what else would be more grounded than Daredevil? I'm not really sure.
Hawkeye was probably the most, just because it wasn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
superheroes.
There were no superpowers
Yeah.
and stuff like that in Hawkeye. I mean, Echo could also be one
Yeah.
of those, but I don't know. We'll see. It's got the potential. All right, what's next?
Mr. 47 sends in a super chat.
Thank you, Mr. 47. And
That's
that
it.
can't be it, is it?
Yeah, that's it. I double checked right now while you guys were talking. I didn't see any more.
Yeah,
Oh,
we went through a
okay.
lot.
Well, then we hit our limit. All right, guys. With that all said, thank you for joining us for this installment of Open Mic. Super appreciate that you guys decided to make us part of the end of your week, Friday. I'm surprised any of you guys are around to talk with us. I'm glad that you are. It made us feel so special. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those super chats. Number one, because it gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did, and all of us involved with the John Campea channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. So for our final sign off of the week, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett back joining us there. There's Jonathan Voico. And of course, we got Taylor, who is running the switchboard there today. My name's John Campea. Guys, have a fabulous, wonderful weekend. Get ready. We'll see you again on Monday. And until then, my friends, bye-bye.